And we're here today with Sinenhlanhla Ndlela
Yes.
from Yococo.
Yes.
Thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you, Thomas, for having me.
Maybe first question, what does your business do?
So it is a dairy-free, egg-free, I don't want to say vegan, but it is, ice cream. And it's loosely based on the 7 chakras. And we also incorporate color therapy into the flavors. And it's we incorporate color therapy into the flavors. And it's all about serving love in scoops.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a ton of questions. All right. Maybe my first question is, how did you come up with that idea? I mean, let me start with something else. Vegan is not very common I think the idea of vegan food in most parts of Africa that I've been to was not very common. And then how did you come up with the idea and said, hey, vegan ice cream is important?
So in 2016, I moved from Cape Town to here, Joburg, and I had just graduated in TV writing and post-production. So I came here to Joburg to have my big dreams of working in the television industry and, my adult dreams and whatever. And when I got here, it was just such a culture shock in terms of the way the city is structured, and I hadn't lived in such a busy place in so long, and my anxiety just shot up the roof, and I just felt unsettled. It was the first time that I was forced to do something long term as an adult and having to define what that means for me. Then somehow I ended up meeting a kinesiologist, and she's my friend now, and she just helped me to find out why I was feeling the way I was feeling and how I was sabotaging myself and all of those things. It was just like a whole new world to me. Mm-hmm. And
so
then
this inner journey was something new for you to explore that, and
so new. And just it was the first time I think I was having a quarter-life crisis, existential crisis of some sort. And then I started removing all animal products from my diet. And I love ice cream, Thomas. I love ice cream. I even made friends with people at the ice cream places in Cape Town. So I can get free ice cream. And so now with my animal-free diet, I had to make a way.
You got this suggestion by your coach or mentor, basically, to go on an animal-free diet.
Yes. Yeah. And then, from there, I started looking, what can I eat now for ice cream? Yeah. And then I started tasting the other ice creams that are on the market, and I didn't like any of them.
You were not convinced.
I was like, no. And then I started exploring what my purpose is, in the moment. What can I do that's not going to make me feel like I'm just waking up to go to the same place, do the same thing, and just barely cover my rent. And so what we explored is, obviously we're all here to serve in one way or another. And for me it was to serve love. And I was like, well, what's a better way? I love ice cream, and I can definitely serve people that. And how do I make it be full of love? It doesn't have animal products. It's environmentally friendly. The flavors have something to do for your health and just the whole experience. Then Yococo came to me.
That sounds very straightforward, but I'm sure there must have been a ton of hurdles. So we'll talk about the chakras later, because I'm also curious about that. But first of all, so you're in your quarter-life crisis, you said, right? And you go on this inner journey, see that you're in a hamster wheel, that you don't want to live this life that you've been kind of running into.
Yeah.
And then you have this idea, or come up with the idea, or the idea finds you that you want to serve scoops of love, as you say, right?
I don't even know how to make ice cream that time.
Exactly. Now that was going to be my next question now. And especially when you're maybe in a state where you're in a crisis, right? So how do you go to becoming an entrepreneur, starting a business, and saying, yes, I can make better ice cream than others, but I can also live from that?
It's, now that I think about it, I don't know. I don't think I thought about it that logically. I think I just felt I need to do this. And a lot of people are saying you're gonna fail. I'm like, it's fine. If I fail, I'll look, what did I do wrong? And then I'll try again. Like, I know myself, I'm not a serial entrepreneur. Like, I don't see myself doing a lot of businesses. I see myself doing a lot of things, but not necessarily. Starting a business is not a joke. I don't know. I didn't think about it that logically. I quit my job.
So you quit your job, but you didn't have the business up and running. You didn't even know how to make ice cream. You said, I'm going to make ice cream, but the most important thing now is to quit my job first, right?
Yeah, like, I just came to work that day. My boss did something and I was like, this is the last straw. I'm done. And called my mom. I could hear my mom sounding nervous, like, okay. At home, they think I'm just a crazy girl. So they're always ready for something weird. And she's like, okay, what now? And I'm like, I want to start a business. And I don't want to lie to you. I started hearing radio ads, how to open a business account. I started hearing where to register. People are now talking to me about incubators. Like, honestly, things just started like that. And then
they appeared out of nowhere, basically.
Out of nowhere. So I went to this meeting for this incubator. I'd never heard of an incubator before. And got there. They told us what to do to apply. Applied. I got accepted. And then they gave us like 2 weeks to start our business.
Okay, so they actually gave you 2 weeks to start a business. That was the incubation program. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have to pay for that program?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and they just chose, like, you have to put together what your thing is. And yeah, and then before that, I went to a trip with my then partner. And when I got to the place, we met up with an old friend and we told him, because I was still, I believed I was doing it, but I was still very much like, maybe this is what I'm doing. And he decided to quit his job. He worked at an ice cream place, decided to quit his job, gave himself a month, moved here, and he was like, let's do it.
Okay, so he had a business partner.
He wasn't a business partner. He was more of a mentor, a bit, because I had no idea how to do anything.
Okay.
And
so there was someone with knowledge about ice cream, at least.
He was more business. He also didn't know how to make the ice cream. I had to Google, and Google lies. Those recipes, I'm like, this is not right. And I followed everything. So I had to research some more, try things myself, buy a lot of ice cream, taste what is it, like almost make it some sort of sensation for myself. What do I want to taste in ice cream? Because before I just gulped it down, right? Like, I never thought about the taste, how does it work?
So you become an actual scientist, like an explorer of the taste, of the texture.
Yes.
Yeah.
The taste, all of that. Like, what's the difference between this one and dairy? And luckily, I lived in an apartment place with like over 200 people, and there was a lift. I'd stand by the lift and just ask 5 people to come volunteer to taste my ice cream. Wow. And they'd come. And I'd make them full surveys. And yeah.
Did they tip you?
No, they just they were very honest though, hey? They were very honest, like if they hated it or if they liked it. And yeah, but I don't know, people just trusted like this random girl asking them to come to her apartment and eat.
You could murder them.
Right?
Poison.
Food poisoning, so many things could have gone wrong. But yeah, like then from there, applied to a market, and yeah, then we started, like things fell into place, like in the craziest of ways.
Well, what comes to my mind and what I find very interesting is that you made up your mind that you would do this, although yes, there was a level of uncertainty, you say, but you also mentioned that you said, yes, it's okay if I fail, I'll just do it again until it works.
Yeah.
Do you think that directly contributed to how somewhat smoothly this happened and how things came to you?
I think so, because now that we've had our conversation as well, I think I wasn't married to the idea. I just knew I had to do it, and I have to do it. Like,
was it like a stroke of inspiration, or like one thing where you, like a one moment, or was it something that gradually developed? You said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I mean, you said you quit your job on the spot, so that was not planned apparently.
No.
But then, as for the idea, was there like one moment? Oh wow, they're genius. Let me do that, or did that develop over time?
I think it kept developing because even this year, this year is the 3rd year into it. There's some things where I'm like, wow, why didn't I think of that? But now I know I couldn't have thought of that because I didn't know all the things I know now.
Yeah.
So it's just been building up. There hasn't been a thing where I'm like, suddenly. It's been progressive. Yeah, each thing building onto the next. So, yeah. Because now some things look so obvious. I'm like, of course, though. Like, I could have done that. But there was no way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I still find it very interesting that you said, well, it's okay if I fail. I'll just do it until it works. I know that from myself. And every time I've just, without ego investment or without pride or something, I just said, like, no, that makes sense. I can learn. I know that, So I'll just learn until it works. Anytime I said that and put my mind to it, it came much quicker than I actually thought it would.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that a lot. Now, okay, so you're doing these tastings, right? You fetch people from the elevator, you drag them into your apartment, you let them give you brutally honest feedback. So, and over time, you come up with an ice cream that works for you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay, now you have the product, at least on small scale.
Yeah.
You produce it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
How do you make it a business? How do you bring it out into the market? How do you make people trust you? How did that work?
So they forced us at the incubator to bring our products for people to buy. And having to bring our setup there was such a wild thing. Like now, when I look at it, I'm like, I would never do it like that now.
So it was like a fair.
Yeah, it was almost just like an hour. Yeah, an hour after the teachings or whatever, then people can come and taste and all of that. And yeah, then people tasted it. Yeah, even the texture, and it's so weird. When you look at something at that moment, it's like, yes. Like, people can have this.
It's safe.
Yeah.
I hope.
And then when you look at it 2 years later, you're like, what is that? Like, why didn't anyone say anything? But yeah, so we did that, and then we applied to a market. Imagine we took the whole fridge to their offices.
To a market? You applied to a market?
Yeah. So now we have
like a supermarket?
No, like a weekend market.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we brought our whole fridge to the offices for tastings. We could have easily packaged, like, those things I didn't think of. I was like, let's just take up our whole setup.
So not a small cooler box, but
no,
the fridge. Like, can we plug it in here?
Yeah. The space was so tiny. I'm sure they were just like, what's going on here? But they just indulged us. But yeah, then we did that, and then they accepted it to their market, and then we did that. Then we just started building from there.
Okay, so in the weekend markets, that's where you built your business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And social media. Funny story about that. I was looking for packaging now. Went to this guy, and he asked me to show him my social media for the company so he can get a feel or whatever. I'm like, okay, no, let me see yours, what it looks like, and I see, I'm like, I don't have a social media page. Because I was just like, what what am I doing? Pictures were just random. It had no cohesion, nothing, no strategy, nothing. And
that was your page at that time.
That was my page, and I thought it was great. I thought everything was fine. And after I saw his page, I was like, you know what? I don't have a page right now. We're still working on that. Went home, deleted everything, and started afresh. So yeah, and then from there on, yeah, we've just, now I don't mind showing my page.
Okay, that's good. So you had someone that helped you with the packaging?
Sort of. His thing actually didn't work. I think I just met him so I can know to channel my social media page better. Yeah.
So then, in the beginning, how did you package the ice cream? Did you have it in Tupperware or?
So we did scoops. So we weren't really doing deliveries, and then then we started doing deliveries a bit later on. Then we got tubs that weren't so great because they weren't tightly sealed. They would crystallize and all of that. Then we had to work through that and get different packaging that might be better. So then we ended up going to like the PLA route. But then I'm like, environmentally, how do I balance that? So it's just a constant. I don't think I'm at a place now where I'm kind of okay with the packaging I have, but I know that it can be better.
Okay.
And I know which direction it needs to go. Yeah.
Of course, I mean, you're 3 years into that, so of course, you know, as an entrepreneur, we always see things that we could improve.
Yeah.
But it's always interesting, I find, to hear how people start, you know, and how do you build an ice cream company from scratch, from your kitchen, and you know, what is a feasible route for other foodpreneurs, you know, that want to go do something, right?
Yeah.
So that's already a lot of valuable insights. Let me ask you, from the weekend markets, right now you have your products also in supermarkets, right?
Yeah, in some shops now.
How did the transition, or what had to happen for you to be able to place your ice cream in shops?
In shops.
Yeah.
So the very first store, okay, what happened was, so my friend and I, we parted ways. When we parted ways, I felt that I wouldn't be able to carry the business. And I think it was the first time that I had to stop hiding behind someone, you know, and actually show up for my business and do what I need to do. Then it was kind of like a period where I had to sort of work through that and decide, am I going forward, or was this business really held by my friend?
Yeah.
And yeah, then I got over that period and I decided I can do it. Anyway, this idea came to me. I can do it. And literally after I made that decision, people started finding out about Yococo. They started wanting to have interviews with me or whatever. And this publication, Eat Out Guide, it's like one of the biggest in food industry here in SA. They reached out, they wrote this beautiful article. So many people reached out that day. And this one shop that I'm still with today reached out and they said they want to stock my products. That's when I was like, oh, I can do that. And yeah, so then I started doing that, and then I started calling people like, hey, I have this product, wada wada, would you like to have it in your store? And a lot of people said yes, a lot of people said no, you know, and yeah, we just tried different tags and just find out why you say no, and is there something I can do about it? If there isn't, then that's that. So yeah, that's how I got my product in there. Just like a lot of chancing and calling people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is the stores, are they more important to your business right now than the weekend markets?
Things have changed. Yeah, things have changed. Now what's more important is I do the events, because now I've had to change a lot as well and just think, what do I want? Because the business has sort of been telling me what to do. And just finding it, is it right for me? Is that what I want? Or am I playing to what people think growth looks like for me? And a lot of people have been pushing me towards big retail. and it doesn't feel right for me.
The big retailers?
Yeah, it doesn't feel right for me. And like, it doesn't feel right to me to create this brand and have it mean something and not be just another ice cream brand, but do exactly what everybody else does. And I've just been asked again to almost start my business from fresh. Like, why am I doing this? And that's sort of like helped to shape the next trajectory that we're taking now. So,
ice cream and events. How does that fit together? You have an event tomorrow. What is that about?
Like, the most important thing for Yococo is to meet people, is to create an experience for people, to make people feel loved, make people feel that there's so many people who will be like, I haven't had ice cream in so long because I can't have dairy, or oh my word, my child is allergic to 1, 2, 3, and I'm so happy that you guys are here, wada, wada, wada. It's about that. It's about connecting. It's not about having my product in shelves and having lots of trucks going out to deliver, not even knowing who I'm working with. It's not about that for me. And so if I can do more events, I think of Yococo as an artist now. Like, she goes to perform wherever and meets people, and it's a whole thing. Like, you feel like I'm visiting you. Well, Yococo is visiting you as a person, and it's an experience. It's not, you don't just push your trolley, put it in. So that's not what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where Yococo needs to be at. More events, more traveling, tours, ice cream tours. Like, we actually secured our first tour. We're leaving tomorrow night, hopefully. So Cape Town, then we're going to go to Zim. And then I'm hoping next year even more stuff.
Wow.
So, like, yeah, that's where it's at for Yococo. And if I can keep on doing deliveries
to smaller shops?
To people.
To people directly. So they
As
order
well.
directly to the door.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, the shops as well, but not big ones, like your niche shops.
That's very interesting. I mean, I think most entrepreneurs, they would probably say, okay, the bigger, the more sales, the more visibility, the faster. But yet you're consciously deciding against that because, well, your heart seems to tell you something different.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Like, it's just, and I've had to push back so much, like, because obviously people have one way of seeing growth, and that's not what it is for me. I know I need to make money. I know that. But then what's the point if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing? And I don't want to live to make money. So, and I am a firm believer in that thing of, if you're doing what you love, then money will come find you or whatever. But I don't want to have Yococo because I need to make money. Once I'm getting into that zone, things just spiral downwards.
Okay.
Like,
so
the
that's also not
decisions.
something that you could sustain as a founder for yourself and with your energy to continue a business like that.
Yeah, like, it's, and making decisions from a desperate place is like the worst place to make decisions from. Like, I've learned.
Well, I find it very inspiring, and I think it's one thing that I see, that's very powerful in the way you're choosing is that it's an amazing story. So, and people love to tell good stories. So if you create experiences for people, they will share that experience and pass it on to other people.
Yeah.
And then people can get Yococo to their door.
Yeah.
How did you? I mean, I don't think if let me say I'm back in Berlin or in Lagos or wherever. I don't think I knew where I would have to call to get ice cream delivered to my door. How did you come up with that?
Yococo. Yeah, it was just a way to keep things personal, and because that's the whole point. It's why like, how do I get my product to people? I take it to them. Yeah.
And then they buy it in 1 kg.
Right now they buy in like maybe three 250 milliliter tubs. So I don't do anything bigger than 250 right now. I'm probably, the biggest we'll probably do is like 500 milliliter. And then if you want, you can just buy more tubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And restaurants, do you also have them in your
Not yet.
as your customers?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yococo, what does it stand for? Why the name?
So it's a portmanteau between yogurt and coconut, but it's also a portmanteau between yoga and coconut. So I had a moment of doubt, which is weird. I thought I could make yogurt and not ice cream. I don't know why. I don't know. And
that's when the name happened?
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? If I can't make ice cream, I definitely can make yogurt. I don't know. Hey, I don't know. Like, I look back and I'm like, yo, I was so ambitious. Like, but yeah, then I just kept the name and I was like, you know what? I gotta learn. So let me just stick to what it is that I wanted to do.
Okay.
I feel like when you're younger, you just think you can do so much. Because some of the things I'm like, who said I can do that?
You can or you can't?
Like, but there's so many things where I was like, I can do it, you know? But from where? Like, there's no evidence that proves that I can.
I think I think it's rather, if we look at things, there's a ton of evidence that we can do anything, right? But then I think it's being untrained from us, and we're being trained that we need to go to school, university, wherever, for us to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But I think actually evidence is where we start to speak, without reading a book or anything, just by observing. We start to walk. Right. We start to understand people, and I mean those are complex tasks, right?
True.
So, and we just learn them very easily and playfully. We learn to run, play a ton of games.
You're right.
So, and I think starting a business is not that different. It cannot be harder than speaking a language, for example. Like in complexity, it's just, well, you practice it a bit and you start understanding the general rules that apply, and then you do that.
You're right. Yeah. It's just when you think about it, it's like somebody has to teach, but then
try it out. I mean, read, learn, ask people, observe again what is working for others, and then test it until it works.
It's true.
I think your formula for, okay, I'll do it, I'll fail until I get it right, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and just this thing of also not comparing journeys and whatnot, I think that's really helped, because, sometimes I'd feel that, oh my word, after 3 years, according to this person, this and this and this and this and this should have happened. But then it's like,
according to who?
It's like, things we do things for different reasons. So I don't know, like, what other people want from out of their businesses. I don't know. Like, and that's why sometimes it's so hard for me when people are like, they ask me, like, what should they do? It's like, I don't know what you need to do, because what worked for me, what if it's not what you need to do for yourself? And here, there's so many events where people come and people share their stories and to motivate and what and inspire. I'm just like, if you're going to start your business, you don't need me to tell you. Like, you don't. And if it's something that comes from you, there's nothing that I can say that's going to make you get up now and do what you need to do. Like, it's not powerful. I feel, for me, it's not powerful enough for you to hear my story and then suddenly your whole life has changed. Maybe a little, but like, I don't think.
I mean, who knows, sometimes certain things stick with us, and, for us, they might have been minor things, but they actually change how someone else thinks about it. Literally, the example of you, giving ice cream tastings at an elevator, it might not have been the school book way of doing things, right? But it works, and it makes a lot of sense for most entrepreneurs. That's just how they test their ideas. But then if you maybe just got your MBA and want to start a business, then that might not seem reasonable to you, right? Maybe you want to rather, hire a consulting firm to do a big study, and waste a lot of money, or, just testing out the ice cream until it works and going to a local market, and serving directly to customers and getting the word out, something anyone could do with their own products and creations. Yet it's so simple that most people cannot even think that way anymore. So maybe, who knows? Maybe that inspires people, and definitely for me, your share of, you want to do business in a different way. I find that very inspiring. So thanks
you.
for that. Let's talk a bit about the chakra systems. You said that it's loosely created around the chakra systems, your ice cream.
Yes.
How do the chakra systems work? Without going in it too deep, but is that just a marketing thing, or is that actually something that you put thought in and created? How does that work?
Most definitely. So now that I think of it, I did a lot of research before starting. I think I almost had analysis paralysis. Yeah, because there was a time, because as I said, this whole idea came through me trying to find meaning in what I'm doing and what I should do and going forward or whatever. So a whole lot of that, I wanted to almost always go back to why I started, where was I, what was happening. And so anyway, the kinesiologist, she works a lot with that. And I don't know a whole lot of about that, but she does. And now she's the person that I consult about those type of things. And so I started researching what type of foods like heal maybe like the sacral chakra, or like just solar plexus, all of your chakras, because they all have different colors. And that's already like such a great connection, because obviously my ice cream is not all going to be white. So yeah, so like every time I'm choosing fruits from a certain color, it's not just random or whatever. So it's sort of, and I've just been learning a bit more about frequencies, about color therapy, all of those things. How can I incorporate them in how I make the ice cream? And I'm trying to actually teach more people about it. And I don't want people to see it as like a religion, or that's why it's very loosely, so it's just something to add on. It's not everything that it is. Yeah. And I'm not promising you're gonna be healed or whatever. It's not like that, but it's not a random ice cream.
Okay, wow, thank you for sharing that. Do you still know what the name of the incubator was that you attended?
Yes, I don't know if they still exist. It's called Awetu. Yeah.
Okay.
It was in Braamfontein.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds also it sounds like a very powerful program, because you just mentioned you did so much research, paralysis by analysis, or the other way around.
Yeah.
And yet they managed to get people on board, but then push them to start a business within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
so you don't have time to be paralyzed anymore. You have to do something.
Yeah. You have to show us that you're making money. Otherwise, you have to get out the program.
Wow.
So,
good stuff. I love that. One question. Your ice cream is handmade. Yeah, is that correct? Then
mostly, yeah.
How do you scale handmade ice cream? Do you have like a huge team now, or how does it work on a practical level?
So so the handmade part is basically we don't use artificial flavors or whatever, and everything that goes into the ice cream, I have to like prepare it to go in. It's almost like cooking. Yeah. And right now I have a team. There's 4 of us. 3 of us are like in everything, sort of, but I still make the ice cream. And then we finally have a driver. How am I gonna scale that? I don't know, but I think it will come together, because now I found a way how to make more ice creams, but then I still don't feel it's mass produced. I think what I've learned a lot this year, planning. And if I plan, then I can use my time wisely and I can make more. So yeah, I think that's just another layer to unveil next year. How do we get bigger without losing the artisanal feel, and not get lost in that.
Sine, if you could partner with anyone right now and ask them for anything, who would you partner with? What would you ask them for?
The person I'm thinking of right now is the Museum of Ice Cream. You know, I really love what they do. Like, in terms that you can experience ice cream, you can just... Because, you know what, growing up, I feel like it's just so dreadful. It has really bad press.
Growing up has bad press. I love that.
So, like, it looks terrible, and I think it can be marketed better. So, if I could partner up with them, that would be amazing, you know? And we just maybe have our own room in their museum, you know, and get people to come and experience Yococo, like, every day. And it's not a shop. So, yeah, I'd really like to partner up with them. That would be great.
They're here in Joburg?
No.
They're
in America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Americans, listen up if you hear this.
Yeah, they should come here. Yeah.
Oh, great. And is there anything that you wish you had known before this journey?
The thing that I think I need to have a lot of patience, because you can do everything right. Show up, do everything, and then people still don't buy. You've done your research, you've done everything, and it's like, okay, where are the people? So, and sometimes you just need to be patient. Like, there's just so many things that you can't control. And you just really need to be patient. And when 3 months in, I wasn't seeing where I'm going, I was just like, did I make a mistake? Because everyone expects you to have made it, or it's like, we're wasting your time. There was a time when they told me at home that this is a hobby and I should just get a real job. And, you know, like, that hurt me, because I was like, I'm doing so much. This is not a hobby. But just being patient with myself, even though everyone else wasn't patient with me. Yeah, like, I think that, because then there's nothing you can do with time.
But with time, things come.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do to fast forward it. There's nothing you can do to make it change. So, just patience. I really wish I knew that I'd have to be really, really patient. So.
Does your family still think you're running a hobby?
Now, you know what's, it's weird when people see your business in magazines or TV or whatever, then they're like, oh, you're doing so well. Oh my word, I've always known. And like, only now, some people are brave in my family to be like, you know, we used to say you went to varsity only to go and sell ice cream in Joburg. Like, now we see what you were doing, but it used to be a joke, you know, like, what is she doing with her life? So I'm like, but still, it's still very superficial. Like, you still don't really understand what I'm doing. You still think it's what you see in books or what it shouldn't take that for people to understand what you do.
Or be supportive.
Or be supportive, you know. But I get it. My mom is my biggest supporter. You know what I loved about her is, even though I could see that she doesn't believe it, she still felt that she needs to support me. Wow. Like, but you can see that she's like, what are you doing? But it's like, okay, I'm here, but what are you doing? But now she's like, okay, I see. I see it herself. I see, yeah. Wow. So,
that's lovely.
But yeah.
And is the business at a point now where it's sustaining itself?
Sometimes. Sometimes. It's definitely gotten better. Definitely gotten better. And I can leave people now to do things. I got an opportunity in October to go for a week to Amsterdam. And my business was alive and kicking when I came back.
Nice.
So I was like, I can get sick. So yeah, like, anything can happen to me and it's okay.
You've got a real business.
So yeah, like, you know, it's just, just changing things for myself as well, you know. it's overwhelming sometimes to think that people are coming to work. And I have to keep this here and make it a space where it's not something I can just be like, okay, I don't want to do it anymore. It's more than just my emotions and my feelings now. So
it's other people also that have invested time, trust,
most definitely,
passion into.
Most definitely.
So how do you deal with it when you're like not in a mood, you know?
I give myself time sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, before I used to never give myself a chance to not be in the mood, obviously. But now sometimes I'm not, sometimes like I struggle to maybe wake up or face the day or whatever. And, you know, like I'll give myself one day and just feel it out, whatever it is. And it's okay for me not to feel great all the time. And I try to be open with my team that today, for whatever, I don't know, I'm going through whatever, and this is what needs to happen. We need to show up. And if I can do it, I'll do it. Like, because obviously I can. But if I really, really feel that I need a day out, I'll take a day out, you know, and I don't feel bad anymore. So, and I've just realized that if I'm not okay, then I can't give my best. So, yeah.
My final question would be, what would be your advice to young South African entrepreneurs?
I think listen to yourself, because a lot of people have a lot of ideas. They have a lot of things, and it's so much easier to coach a player than be the player, you know? Like it's like, why don't you just do this? Why don't you do that? And it's so important to find your own voice. Like, what do you want? Yeah. I think listen to yourself more. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. This was fun. Thank you.